Everybody, this is Bacter. You know, we've done a lot of talking about a 1 hour no deaths run of Deadbolt to get all the achievements, but I'll tell you what we haven't seen too much of is a 1 hour no deaths run of the whole game, and that is what we are about today. Ladies and gentlemen, let us begin. This is not attempt number 1, but hopefully it will be attempt number final. So, the first level here is more or less the same. You can skip it, as I said before, I just never quite feel right doing so. And also, not skipping it allows me to have exactly the number of souls I need to get my loadout the first time Charon becomes available. Not super important, and in fact I know I lose a little bit of time, but I've generally got enough time to spare that I can go through this. So, that's how you go. I've said before, you want to not alert the gun zombie on the top floor on the second part there. Anyway, that's the only part here. Things are a little more RNG-ish, I guess you could say, before we get our headhunter, because there is a wider range into which the bullet can fly with these guns. The main important thing here is you don't want to alert the house. Sometimes that can happen, and it feels sort of random who gets alerted to what. Sometimes missed one of the shots there. Fortunately, I've got bullets to spare, and enough for a shootout up here. You can stun him with one body shot and take him down the head just like that. If I was feeling a little bit more careful, I could have waited for him to come down to the unlit second floor and finished him off there. If I had died there, I just would have restarted, so you know it's not too far along. I'll be a bit more careful as we go farther into the game. But that was a fine level. This one coming up here, there's really only one trick, which is in this first room here. I like to do a pistol shot first because trying to melee both. Hi to my friend there. Meleeing both of these guys to death can be a little tricky, and sometimes that will immediately alert the guard on the second floor, in which case we'll have to use the vents. It didn't, so that meant we were able to charge up as long as we moved quickly and get within striking range by the time they took their position and turned around to see us. Bouncers can sometimes, if you slack off for even just a half second with your swings, fire off one shotgun blast and do you in, so you do want to be a bit careful. There's a trick to doing melee with the hammer, although with the knife it's basically impossible. Anyway, that is that's the melee achievement, and all that we need for our final loadout. I think, as I've discussed before, I just have a weird habit of taking out the headlight on top of Charon there. Doesn't mean anything, I know, but whatever. And if we had missed one of those achievements, coinage would have gotten us enough souls to seal the deal, so to speak. But whatever. Now we've got our loadout, and that's going to stick with us through the whole game. We're going to start. I have a different route. Actually, I need to get my guns. I have a different route than I did the first time, and that's because we have the headhunter here. We're able to force our way through these high concentration of zombies. Specifically, the bouncer zombies. That was a little spooky. Usually, the guy on the top floor doesn't get alerted and come down to see you, so, you know, anything is possible. Now, we want to be moving a little bit quickly so that the two zombies coming up there don't see us too well. Fortunately, we have, they don't catch up with us, I mean to say. Fortunately, we have plenty of 9mm ammo, and we get a spare pistol there. This is another tricky part of the level. Anytime I can avoid having to do a floor change into a place where someone is directly looking at me, I like to do that. Just because you have to move the cursor around a little bit, and you only have usually, you know, a half to 3/4 of a second. If I have a melee weapon, I like to huck it before I'm done with the level. Just another one of my little eccentricities. Anyway, that saves a few seconds, actually about 10 seconds, I think. And now we're on to Puff. Now, Puff, as a level, the perfect Puff level goes very specifically, so we'll see if we can pull it off here. I need to headshot, with one shot, both of these guys down here. There they go. Yep, and got the bouncer as well. That alerts the melee, and that alerts the gun zombie there. Oh. Okay. This being a long game and all, I'm sure we'll have some slowdown and fraps at some point, so I'll try to keep things steady. Anyway, top floor, those two bouncers need to see you going downstairs or they won't follow you. Now, unfortunately, I missed one of my two headhunter shots, and so that means I had to retreat, but there's a spare sawed-off there. If you change floors, then Puff magically knows you're not there and doesn't shoot through the door, but you can just zip along behind him, and down he goes. That was a near-perfect Puff level. The perfect Puff level would be if I didn't miss the shot with the headhunter, and I could have taken them both down that way, but whatever, that worked fine. And I try to build some backups into most levels. Some levels, there's just nothing you can do. If you miss your shots, then there's nothing for it. Okay, the trick here is, as soon as you open the door, if you fire, then you can take out that first Cerberus without alerting anybody else, and it being dead, that allows you to have more headhunter shots. I don't like it when he pulls up right there. There we go. And down with the 9mm. You really just need 3 to take out this top floor, because you can usually attract somebody else down. And there, if you have the sawn-off shot, take out the top floor. 2 bullets for these 2 dudes, and that is it. Not a bad level there. The trickiest part is that first one, because it is possible to shoot the door while it's opening, but if you get it like the frame or 2 after it opens, then it takes down the Cerberus. No big deal if you don't get it. It just means you have to waste some more headhunter shots on the other dog and the gun zombie on the lower floor. So I have a new route for this level that I'm actually real proud of. Take out that guy with the hammer and just totally bypass the rest of the first floor. Oh, with the knife there. Fortunately, it doesn't make a noise on the door. Anyway, he comes open, gets a knife, and we have bullets enough. Yes, 1 left over to take down everybody up here. And because we used the silenced 9mm and melee thrown weapons, that didn't alert anybody, so we're going to get the Baba Yaga achievement. I do like to try to hit him. Yes! It's a rough life being that zombie. Anyway, not bad at all. A little more slowdown there, but hopefully it leaves off. Some runs I have basically none, and some runs I have a lot. So all we have left at this point is the hotel and the first vampire level before rolling. So the hotel, again, isn't usually too bad. I have, again, a different route than I've done before. I've tried to route things more for security in these long plays. That's obviously of much more concern, especially as we get later into the game. You want things to be as safe as possible. I could probably use the headhunter to take out this head here, but it's just, I always know it works to run in and melee him, and I really haven't died too much. This, as I think I've said before, I've actually died on because it's a bit RNG where the 9mm bullets go. And troublingly, sometimes those 2 gun zombies on the top floor aren't alerted. That's not a big deal, you just have to move under them and fire your 9mm. They'll hear that for sure and then they'll come down. Now you can zip up here and actually get the head in almost always 1 shot. Then down him with the hammer. That does not alert the 2 headless guards up above, and so you are free to 9mm them at your leisure. Sometimes the body of that lower one can actually run and get in your way, and that's a bummer. Now, I'm not sure why the guards don't run in sometimes, and sometimes they do. I honestly think it has to do with if you are in the vents when they appear out of the cars, because being in vents can kind of mess with the game. For instance, in the nightclub level for the vampires later, where you're timed and supposedly you would die if you didn't beat the level in a certain time limit, you get turned into ash, just as everybody else in the club does if you don't beat the level technically, but if you're in the vents, it just bypasses you and nothing much happens. So the vents is sort of a weird state as far as that goes. Anyway, not bad. Now we're on to the first of the vampire levels. Vampires from zombies are probably the biggest jump in difficulty. They're just quicker, and zombies are conveniently at about shoulder height, their heads mostly, and it's just quite easy to aim. You want to mash through this introductory talking sequence here and to be able to get to the top. Oh shoot, I missed him with 1. Well, fortunately, I have a spare headhunter bullet that I don't typically use in this level. You want to fire that one to attract the vampires from down below. And I've actually got a bit of a different tactic than I've used before. It's 2 hammer hits to take him down. Make sure you have the sawn off. Go down and fling 1 hammer to take down the melee zombie. Sometimes the melee vampire does not follow you up to the top level, and that is a bummer. I don't know why that happens sometimes. But it does, and we deal with it when it does. Now remember, 10mm can pass through walls, making this encounter quite trivial, unless you want to open up and fire, whatever while they're all watching you, and that's quite dangerous. You can sort of scoot around back if you want to do that route, but it's still tricky. You still have less time and more bullets flying at you, so that's always bad. I think this level is sort of set up to reward you if you realize that, basically. But anyway, flinging the 2 hammers. Flinging hammers is almost always safer than using guns, except for, I guess, the Revenant maybe, or the Sawed-Off, because if it's a weaker enemy, then a melee hit anywhere, and the melee weapon can be going at any speed, always a one-hit kill. So, it's pretty good. Okay, Roland time. Now, this is another level where there's kind of some RNG, and I don't know what makes it happen. I've done this a number of times, and I can't get it to consistently go one way or the other. You zip down here, no problem. Sometimes the zombies on that upper level there will see you when you run down to this level. And if that happens, Roland hides, and it's just harder to do everything. Fortunately, he didn't, and you don't even have to worry about the zombies on the lower levels, it turns out. You just book it right away, and under 20 seconds is a very good Roland level. I don't know if that's... I haven't watched any of the speedrun stuff in forever, so I don't know if this is really what they do. I'm sure they do better, because their top times are like 30 minutes or something, but whatever. Okay, vampire levels are all quite tricky. You want to make use of this grading right here. I'm sure I've mentioned that before. Melee vampire down first, then the gun vampire, and this is a different route than before. It's just safer. Up to the top here, you have an excellent sniping location. Once again, melee first. If you do that in a reasonable amount of time, then you come downstairs right at the right time. She, for whatever reason, always gets stuck on the stairs here, so you kind of get a free kill on that melee vampire. I've never seen her free herself and cause you any trouble. You can open the door right away and start blasting in here, but I just find it easier to attract one of the zombies over, because your bullets are very limited. You saw I had 2 of those 10mm shots left, and I kind of want the 10mm for the room over to the left. You want to use the 9mm SMG on him rather than the 10mm, because the 10mm pierces, and whatever vampire it hit, the bullet did, that would then become active and come after you. So 9mm SMG is a necessity there. I was lucky enough to get a 10mm shot on the sitting melee vampire at the end there, which is great because conservation of ammo is good stuff. Okay. This next level is... The first couple levels are various levels of tricky. This is the slowdown level. I think it's the flashing lights or something like that, but it always slows down on my emulator, so I apologize for that. I especially apologize because it actually does make the level easier. I promise I'm not doing it on purpose. But there is one little tricky shooting spot, which I just have more time to aim on. I can totally do it, I pinky promise, unaided. And that's kind of how I got the awards in the first place, but, you know, whatever. Normally, incidentally, in the game, if you see slowdown, it's only making it harder because it's very inconsistent. Sometimes it stops, sometimes it slows down at a different rate, sometimes it speeds up, and that makes it quite hard for me to time things correctly. It takes a while to load their guns. That's the only good thing you can say about the vampires. This is the tricky part I mentioned before. That requires some quick shooting. You certainly have enough time to do it if the game is going at a regular rate. This isn't like a superhuman move. Whatever. My rule for this room is as soon as he starts to point the gun at you or starts to walk forward, that's when you shoot. You're close enough that your combat shotgun will take him down. Take down this guy. Ooh, I had the empty one alerted. Oh, and he had a red exclamation point, which this is not good. Alerted everybody. Alerted the melee vampire on the floor. That is other than I would prefer it to be. We're still going to try to take her down with this hammer. The important thing is that you get between her and the, or on the other side of the dancing melee vampire, because the last thing you need to do is take out a dancing vampire, alert the activated one, and just get meleeed right to death. Now you can survive a melee vampire if they're close to you and bearing down on you. If you walk towards them, then their leaping strike will usually miss you. It's a tricky business and not something you want to get involved in. Incidentally, if you turn on the lights, it kind of stops the flashing, but I have not found that to affect the slowdown in this level at all, basically. Usually, though, we're back up to regular speed by the next level, so just kind of the way it goes, I'm afraid, with this thing. Anyway, that's the second level. This is the easiest of the first batch of 3. I tend to divide the levels up into batches of 3, just because that's natural, because there's 9 levels per section. And the first 3 of the vampire levels are quite tough, really. I've routed... sorry, this is a troubling slowdown there. I've routed the first 3 pretty well, but that second one is the easiest for sure. This one, you want to aim your headhunter slightly above the head of this guy because he gets taller when he looks up from his drinks. And the only really important thing there is that you take down everybody. Ah, good. I got the shot with the headhunter. You don't always get that, so it's good to pick up the combat shotgun beforehand. So that, oh, that's... I almost never hit the bottle with that thrown hammer. I was trying to take down the melee vampire. Anyway, you want to have your combat shotgun available in case the headhunter shot misses. Now, it's best to not attract the attention of these vampires over here. That's what we prefer, but whatever. They are down, and as long as we have enough time to get the envelope, we're good. Vampires do not stop while you're trying to get the envelope, so they will ruthlessly pursue you. Not bad at all. Now, the next level is somewhere between quite easy and awful, and that depends on if you do the first sweep through the level correctly. This is the one where you have to turn all of the cranks and make sure that the vents are open. And if you do that right, then it's really not too bad. This first part here, you need to do well with your headhunter shots, because if you waste all of your headhunter shots, which has happened on body shots, there's nothing to be done. A regular hammer is not good enough against one of those bouncers when they're coming at you. I also like to have one headhunter shot to take out that guy risk-free from the shadows. You can actually run forward and sledgehammer him before he gets a chance to do anything, but that is sometimes inconsistent, and it's a pretty tight window. Single shot for him, pick up this 9mm, and just for safety's sake, I'm taking out all of the lights on the left-hand side so that I can move up and shoot down there without anybody seeing me on the lower level. I tend to do that a couple times when I'm doing the routes in these levels, and I just, you know, it'd be a little quicker not to, but this is a marathon run, so. Okay. Little stoppage, not awful. So, the gun vampire, of course, is down for good with this, but the other guy will not be. I have no idea what's going on over there. That's a weird-looking animation. I guess he was behind something he shouldn't have been or something, but let's see if I did it. Whew, okay, I did. So, this phylactery is down. That means one of the bouncers is down for the count, and this guy is still active. One nice thing is when you shoot from up here, it attracts the other bouncers upwards, not downwards, so they're not crowding the entryway, forcing you to blast your way past them, which still would have been possible with that combat shotgun and everything, but I didn't have to, which is extremely appreciated. So now we are halfway done at this point. Well, we are at the halfway point, should I say. We still have a boss level in front of us, but that's neither here nor there. You need to start running quickly when this level starts. Get yourself in good position to take her down. This is one of the only real scary parts of the level, and it's not scary, again, unless you miss with the headhunter, and then you've got a bunch of people bearing down on you, and now no real firepower to take care of them. But fortunately, right after that, you get a whole bunch of guns to help deal with everything. I have seen that sawed-off shotgun not... slow down. Ooh, a lot of slowdown. I may do a thing where I undo fraps and just let it sit for a second and then start it back up again. That sometimes fixes this problem. I can't actually quit out. I'm throwing the hammer over there because I want them well positioned for later. Okay, give it one more shot. You want to throw both these hammers so that you don't use as little of your ammo as possible. And the 10mm is a better choice to take her down with. I shot one more time than I needed to. She takes 4 hits. I shot 5 times just to be safe because her draw time is very low. Being the, gun-themed vampire boss, that's not terrifically unexpected. Just need to hit that. Okay, maybe we're speeding up again. I'm gonna pause. I'm gonna undo it for a second. So 1 second. Okay, we're back. That was probably added, I'd say, 5 seconds to my time, and I can see already that I'm still in a bit of a slowdown, so that's a bummer. Anyway, 10mm shot there to take him down. We're just going to stick with this and hope that it clears itself up. It does frequently do that, so hopefully it's not too annoying. You can at least see what's going on and how I'm doing this. And at this point, there's no real challenge left in the level. The shoot on the lower level there was the last challenging part at all, because she runs towards you, but one combat shotgun takes her down. On hard mode, there are 2 dogs on her floor, which make her a little bit trickier to do. But since this gun vampire is facing away from you, I forget if that's Amber or Evelyn. Anyway, Yeah, shotgun blast to the back, and she is down. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Beaten the halfway point of the game. No deaths so far, and we're doing fine on time. I would guess probably sub 20 minutes, so life is good. Okay. Yeah, give it a... sometimes... Alright, I undid it again, so things seem to be going a bit better now, which is hopeful. This level, also you need to start off running, because there's quite a strict time limit there. As soon as that bat enters the door, you need to do this whole beginning circuit by the time he's back. Okay, that was some cinematic headshotting there. I don't like to miss with that headhunter, and that means I'm going to want to, there we go, sawed-off shotgun him down. I'm going to want to take out this other guy with the rest of the sawed-off shotgun. Normally you don't have to do it, you can just headhunter him, but the sawed-off works just as well. If that lower bat vampire makes it back on his circuit before you're all done, he can cause you some problems, because those bats, again, they draw on fire very quickly. Fortunately, I don't need any special consideration to take down that phylactery. It's just right behind the guy. I can one-shot this guy from the back with a combat shotgun, and even though the suppressed PDW causes him to get alerted and start lurching forward towards me, and even though he can see in the dark, which I think is what this top floor is designed to teach you, it doesn't act. I don't like to use up my combat shotgun, I guess I'll say. So the trick here is trying to take down those melee vampires as well as you can with the 10mm. If you can take them all down, then you're in pretty good shape. You've only got one more wave after that. And there we go. Plenty of firepower to take them down. I had some spares sitting around too. If worst came to worst, I could have gone up back to the top parts of the level and gotten more guns up there, but that would add a bunch of time, and I wouldn't care to do it. So now here we are in the final third of the vampire levels, and all of these are tough. I mean, well, I guess the whole vampire everything is, but Sir Stella is probably the easiest of them. I actually remember it as hard because on hard mode this level is a nightmare. But so that was spooky. I missed way too many times with the headhunter there. Anyway, you want to headhunter those three. And this part is pretty consistent, although it looks scary. Run up there and sledgehammer them all. Go down there and wait for the guy to get there. Sometimes the skeletons don't march down together, those two that just came down the doorway, and I don't know why that is, but I'm glad that they didn't, because that makes it a bit trickier. Call the elevator, and because the old world rifle is piercing, you can start to take the lights up above. The that attracts the two hidden skeletons over there, who otherwise I don't know what attracts them. Probably doing this fight at the top here, and so that's trouble for you when you're coming back down. Anyway, with the last light taken out there with the old world rifle, all there is left to do is take out them. We don't care about the ambush anymore because we're hidden by the lights, and really the challenge part of this level is over. Which is fine because the next two levels have challenge enough, as it turns out. Yep, one combat shotgun blast does him in. Skeletons don't see well enough in the dark for us to have to worry about that. And we can just vent our way out of here. Again, you can run past that skeleton without too much trouble. That lieutenant, I should say. Not bad at all. Okay, time for the second club. The quick club. The actual time limit here shouldn't be a problem to us. And I've got... slow down. Yeah, sorry, I did a pause there and I restarted it as soon as I entered into the level. Again, it just cut off 2 or 3 seconds, something like that. Anyway, I've got this routed pretty well. Wasted a headhunter shot there, unfortunately, but that's not too big of a deal. This, things changed for me when I learned you can zip between these two ceiling vampires and grab the Tommy gun and they don't notice you. That gives me another extra tool, which is really nice. Headhunter here serves well to take down that lieutenant. There's also an ash statue in here, and we can drop the headhunter at this point. We'll use the sledgehammer exactly once right here to get his suppressed PDW, and Tommy gun takes out these three with no real risk. It was a bit of a trouble before when I was trying to take them down with headhunter shots or something like that, because that requires some fancy work. There's 2 phylacteries in there that you want to down. You want to make sure and get headshots on these bouncers, because if not, you give them a little bit too much time to respond. Tommy gun takes out the lieutenant before he knows what he's doing. You want to switch to a combat shotgun. Unfortunately, you can duck into this vent here before the skeleton gets a chance to fire on you. Again, that's pretty consistent. I don't think I've failed that. It looks scary, but the timing is just good enough. I guess if you missed the vent the first time or something, that would be a real bummer. And believe me, I've lost levels to stuff like that before, but fortunately not this time. So now all there is waiting for the skeleton reinforcements to pass by. True jerks, all of them. In fact, if I'm feeling puckish, sometimes I like to leave one of them a little parting gift there. I was really out of the woods, so that was fun. Anyway, there we go. Fourth conversion in under a minute. I'm glad to see that. This leaves Madam Stella, who is a real piece of work, as you might guess. Her level is not quite RNG, but it's random enough that it really seems like it is. So, begin with, hopefully things speed up, begin with a 3-hit hammer here. Throw the hammer to take down the bottle. You have the headhunter now, so you want to burst into this room and just do all the damage you can. Oh, awesome. I took down 2 of the gun vampires. That is not guaranteed. Anyway, get out your combat shotgun, take out the first bottle up here, and if I can attract Madam Stella up here, that'd be good. Don't want to waste a gun exactly doing it. No, she's just going to zip around and do her thing. Alright, whatever. It's good if you can attract her up, but it's not strictly necessary. Getting her stuck on the top level is just a good practice. Anyway, down he goes with a single blast. He completely replenishes your combat shotgun stuff. You need the Tommy gun out when you enter into the vent, and down to the bottom floor we go. This attracts everybody. There's just a bunch of combinations of who can end up where, in terms of how many vampires you kill in the first little shootout, because that is not consistent, because that is a very difficult, I mean, there's just a lot going on, as well as up in this next part here. This is the only real spooky part of the level. I have seen just all combinations of vampires be on top floor, middle floor, bottom floor. Sometimes that melee vampire decides to come down. Fortunately, this one was taken down. I occasionally they don't die in one shot to the back to the batty vampires, but whatever. Alright, technically I can probably go down to the lower level and take down both of them at once, but that is not safe. I've died doing that, so I wait for the gun vampire to come up and go down and take down the bat vampire. Okay. I'm going up this way because this is the safest way to do things. I could have just opened the door and blasted Madam Stella, but giving yourself a little bit of room to enter the room and then fire is always good. Not bad. That is a relief to take down that level. Make no mistake, that's a nasty one. So we're on to the final third of the game. The first Dredged level is not terrifically difficult. You want to use your hammer when you open the crate here, just because that saves you some headhunter bullets, and believe me, you'll need all of them you can get. Sometimes that lower skeleton notices you, but he doesn't seem to be able to fire up top well. Once all these are sniped, you tend to have 1 bullet left, and that's good, because there's a lieutenant over there, and lieutenants, as we all know, are beefy. Firing your old world rifle, you'll bring up that hidden skeleton, and then he's easily downed with a shot from a distance. Use your 9mm because it doesn't pierce to take out that light there. Taking out the light is important because that means there's no chance of that skeleton noticing you on the right there as you climb. These two go down silently with 1 sledgehammer. The old world rifle, not silently, but it doesn't matter, takes out that last light there, which is good because now no one will see us as we are sniping. You want to take out the patroller in the back there out of the light first because that gives you some extra shots. I missed twice with him, which seems odd, but whatever. I have enough to cause a lot of other damage. Maybe he's immune to bolt-action rifle bullets or something. All that matters is I had enough to take down all of them. I have a few bullets left on the old world rifle, and take out the floodlights. Okay, there we go. It's speeding up pretty tolerably, so I think we're okay. The last thing I want is to be doing this good. But getting to the last third of the game is not guaranteed for me at all, especially with no deaths. So I can pretty consistently beat the game in under an hour. It's the no deaths one that's especially tricky because that's just no slip-ups. You actually get quite a few level redos, depending on which level it is and how far you are into them, and you can still make the under an hour thing, so that's not particularly hard, but both at once is tricky. So, first level down. Now we're into... this is one of the hardest levels in the game, or can be. I really like the route I have. There is one risky part, and you'll see it. Rush forward to begin with, so you get him on the first cycle to take out that landmine. Getting behind this guy. You don't want to alert the engineers because they start laying landmines as soon as they're alerted, and landmines are a huge pain to get around anywhere. Anyway, get parallel with that, or whatever, level with that second last, the second skeleton and take him down. Attracting the general or the lieutenant like that alerts the skeleton right above him because his alert carries, and so he comes down and you can deal with him without alerting anybody on the top level, which is great. If we're lucky, yes, that skeleton's alert brings the dogs down and we headhunter them, but not critically the engineer, so we move up and grenade launcher him down. There are variations on that level where the two dogs on the top don't get alerted, so you have to pop up and then run back down. It's a little bit shorter range with the headhunter, and because the engineer is alerted, there's mines all up on the top floor, so you have to work your way all back down, but otherwise it's pretty much the same. Okay, this level is tricky, especially because the lieutenant and the engineer both come through this door at basically the same time, so you need to quickly... Yes, got him. You need to quickly take down both of them, especially quickly take down the lieutenant. You really need to one-shot them, so backing up helps with that. I didn't have too much longer before the engineer was going to fire at me with the grenade launcher. Okay, him being down... remember, whatever weapon you leave a stage or part of a stage with is the one you take into the next one. You can silently take him down with the hammer. Sometimes he alerts the two skeletons in here, but it's not a catastrophe if he does. Basically, that looks really scary. You just can't miss. Just hold the bolt action rifle steady and fire away, and they'll all three go down. I have very occasionally died if I had a good setup. If I delayed too long, but otherwise it's not a big deal. Get the bolt action rifle back, get the old world rifle, or miss it, and that's fine. I'll just get the grenade launcher over here. And grenade launcher works fine to take down the generals. They're actually not that, they don't have too many hit points. Their thing is that they fire quickly. I could have waited for both of them to come downstairs. That might have been a touch safer, but going up into the dark isn't bad either. Yeah, you just don't want to be in the same room as a general that's noticed you. Their revival powers really aren't that bad because they're not in enough levels and not in bad enough places to where that becomes an issue. Because they're just so obviously high-value targets, but they attack so quickly. Now, you can melee them to death with a hammer, as I've shown there. They get stunned easily enough, but the sledgehammer is obviously the tool of choice. Now, both generals don't always get alerted and come down, so it just makes it an easier level when it does. Okay. This guy, I swear there's some kind of trigger, because he shouldn't be able to see me wherever he is, wherever he's facing. As soon as you go through that swinging door, he notices you. Okay, run away from the dogs and grenade launcher them. That's a little bit of a tricky one. Sometimes you die in the explosion, so I was very glad I didn't there. Sometimes you alert the head and you don't get it quick enough. I did this time. It's not actually a killer if you don't. The only thing is the engineer starts laying down mines, but you can usually grab the bolt action rifle before that becomes a problem. So, not bad at all. There's the corpses up there. The only real hard part of this is making sure you get the engineer before he lays down too many landmines, or you waste all of your headhunter shots on him, which I have done, and then running away from the dogs enough to be able to get them with the grenade launcher. It's fastest to take them both out with the grenade launcher, but again, not guaranteed. Now, if I'm not mistaken, yes, next is Timur the Tinkerer. This level is actually quite safe, as long as you do things carefully. It's a trap level. So, yeah, we all need more time, Timur. Don't we all, my boy? You just want to make sure, the game is fortunate enough to highlight what you're about to interact with, so you just want to make sure here, for instance, that you're not opening the door, but you are interacting with the shotgun. You can open the door and grab the shotgun as you're running forward before it gets set off, but that is pretty delicate to do that. And you want to just tap the light switch and run away as fast as you can, which should be obvious based on all the lights, but, you know, I'm sure people die to everything in this game. You also want to turn off the lights in this middle room here. Okay. Now that those are down, you can attract the attention of the, ooh, wrong side of the couch, of the lieutenant here. If the light was on, he would have seen me and run after me and might have got me. So that's why you turn the light off. Always be safe. Now, it's pretty clear what's going to happen here. You turn this off. If you manage to not alert the lieutenant, then these skeletons don't get alerted and start to pour down after you, which just makes your life much easier. And this part isn't really hard at all. I don't know if I'm just good or if I'm, I don't know, missing something, but obviously you want to grab that shotgun before you go through the door here. Now, up and down, I'm going to try to do a little doorway switcheroo. It's really not that hard. You have plenty of time to do it. And that ensures we will get the achievement for this level, which is for having only kills with traps. Fourth one from the right is the good one. And once that charge goes off, all the challenge part of this level is over. Two more is down, and we just need to get his blueprints, because he will be showing us how about that portal they're going to set up. The mystery is drawing to a close, and all that is left is to prevent it. And that means we have one kind of easy level, one kind of easy intro to a level, and a very hard boss fight left to go. It's actually not hard in terms of if you have forever to beat it, you know. It's just the simple fact that we can't ever die. And they throw a lot at us, and there's some genuine RNG, which makes it not as much fun as it could be. But first, we got to get our way through the demons. So, the demons, of course, are either rockabillys or Mossad fighters or whatever. I don't even know, man. It don't matter. Alert this guy, and our last headhunter shot will take him out here. The melee demons, I find, are really not be that much trouble. I always try to take out the zombie head cameras with the hammer, because you don't waste anything. You get the hammer back. A knife actually sticks in it. Sawed-off shotgun is always perfect for two dogs, because you don't want to aim or have to when they're barreling down at you. And we want to have as many hammers as we can for this bit. There are a ton of demons in this lower area, and they'll sneak up on you. See the one over on the right there, hiding behind that car. If you don't know what you're looking for, then you'll just run out into the main area and he'll get you. I don't really use cover, as you can see. I don't find it to be a useful mechanic that often, just because it's kind of RNG if it works or not, I think. Okay, this is sort of a bummer. I was hoping to take out the rifleman there, but that's not happening. So I'm just going to lose some seconds and wait for the demon to come down to me. The chain gun one. It's 2 perfect shots or 3 anywhere to take him down. You have that much time to get 3 off before he starts letting loose with his barrage. Chain gun demons are also trivial if you are close to them, because they'll start firing in one direction, and once they've started their firing animation, it takes forever and they can't turn. So if you can get behind them while they're winding up, then you just let loose, and you can probably melee them to death while their back is turned. Either way, that's a cool garage with cool cars, and more importantly, we are through it. Not bad. Now, the next level is a little bit of a thrill sometimes, because well, you get this big weapon in the beginning, this auto grenade launcher. Oh no, I went through the door. Oh, this could be bad. All right, I gotta mash my way through this intro dialogue, because if you go through the door, he notices you, and oh, thank goodness. Weird place for a stop too, but that's fine. Yeah, if he notices you, he can just melee you to death before the cutscene's over. Anyway, I think because people realized that the auto grenade launcher wasn't actually enough firepower to get through this first stage on, they made it so that if you're hit by an explosion of the auto grenade launcher, you turn your back. And unfortunately, sometimes you can't quite see if you've hit everybody, so they've all turned around. Okay, there we go. 3 shots to take him down. And so sometimes you just die on that intro bit. There's not a whole lot you can do. Now, because we have a lack of firepower, I'm going to be doing the old bait and switch with the microwave and the throwing knives here. If you get really good at it, then you learn to throw before people go through the door but just enough so that you actually get them. The problem with getting a whole pile of bodies like that is sometimes when you throw, your knife gets stuck in the body rather than the person. Fortunately, that didn't happen. And because they're all facing away from you, you normally have time to fix your mistake. So, there we go. Look at that. Two shots to take down one of them. You get 3 shots before they start to come down. Fortunately, one hit the light, and demons cannot see in the dark. So that's it for this level. The challenge bit is totally over. It's just running up and down. I wish they gave you a shortcut back to the intro, because, if you've taken everybody down, then all you have to do is run back through through the house. This is the part where we're given some more story, and I'm not sure if Sky Pizza, I think that was his name, was going to do the story of Deadbolt, go through the lore a bit more. Turns out Ibsen was almost certainly used to be a Reaper. You wonder if those birds are Reaper affiliated, like ravens or crows, I guess. But we don't know anything about that. Anyway, for some reason, he either betrayed the principles of the candle god that we serve, or the candle god is just sort of cruel and arbitrary sometimes, because he left him alone and now he's obsessed with getting back and getting warm and not being cold as all the undead are. It's as far as motivations go, I like to warm up myself if I'm feeling chilly, so I can relate. Now, Vol, the level we're about to strike now, is actually not that bad. Her thing is, she doesn't snipe you if you're in the dark, and she has a delay between sniping shots. Now, because we got an auto grenade launcher, we're defaulted back to our 32, so you want to make sure and arm yourself again, please, with the headhunter. No need for this 32 nonsense. So there she is taking a shot. It leads you enough that you want to have the sound on so you can hear it coming and just get time to avoid it. What really makes this level trivial, besides having the headhunter, which allows you to quickly take him down, is first of all just the plurality of available melee weapons to you. Whew, that was a little spicy there. And second of all, the fact that the throwing stars are available right there. They're maybe a little bit hard to find, but there's 4 of the things. So basically, you see the lights are out, so she can't snipe me in here. But she will as soon as she sees me. Like I said, if you're in the shadows for a while, then she counts that as time between shots. So the very second you step back into the light, she's after you. A bit more slowdown. It's kind of a bummer. Anyway, once the lights are out, she has no idea where you are. I really thought that would come into play when you were engaged in counter-sniping at the end of this level, but it does not. You just know where she is, and you act accordingly, which is cool. Because we left that region with the headhunter, we have it back here. Lights go out as much as is possible. Fortunately, they didn't see me. Sometimes they do. But even if they do, you have enough time, as long as you prioritize the chain gun zombie, or demon. Very much not a zombie. Give this a second here. Boom. If this doesn't speed up in a second. There we go. Okay, I did. Because I'm going to be picking a lock, I really have got no time for having the lights on, and I don't know if this makes it so you can't get an A ranking as well, and it's probably a little bit slower, you know, for just things in general if you're really going to do a speed run, but it is worth it to shoot the lights out if you want to not die, and at this point I am pretty far in, obviously, and very invested in not dying. However, because the lights are out, all the challenge has gone out of this level. I don't think there's anything, anything can hurt you in the sniping section. Vol is in the top right-hand section. There she is. Think. And down she goes. That's it. You have to leave the level still, which is a bit of an annoying... Yeah, Reapers are cool, man. Bit of an annoying thing, but whatever, it's not so bad. They also redo some lights, which I think is interesting. I mean, they have like a state at the level that they just sort of assume that it's in after you've passed through it. And they're like, yeah, this is probably what it looked like. So there's only Ibsen left, ladies and gentlemen. I hope I don't sound nervous, though I am a bit, I have to admit. Ibsen is a long level, and he himself is quite a tricky fight. We'll talk more about that when we get to there. But for now, let's just get the quest. The Flame is busy with other things, I guess, just hanging out in his little meditation chamber. I did not dub over this long play with different music as I would normally do with a game, because the soundtrack is just so good. Chris Christodoulou is an... sorry, let me redo this here. X... There we go. Okay. I had to X out of it. That totally froze there. Chris Christodoulou is just such an excellent musician. And especially the music in the second half of this level. Anyway, there go all of the skeletons. Now, you get sniper support on this level, and so there is no reason for you to have that dog or either of these two Mujahideen-type demons live at all. You want to take out the one in back first so it doesn't alert the one in front, And now there is only one gun-carrying guy in this half of the level. In this half of the level, if you take my meaning. And unfortunately, at this distance, you can pretty easily headhunter all of them. Missed one of those shots, but it didn't matter. I had a knife for backup if I truly needed it. And I always could have run back and got one of the rifles there. Okay, now we were going to make 2 trips to this armory, which is super nice that they gave you. The first, we're going to get these throwing stars, and if you use them quickly, it looks scary, but again, it's pretty consistent. Now, there's a weird invisible thing there that makes it hard to use the throwing stars, so we'll have to, we'll alert them up top with the next half of our little run here. We're going to go back and get both bolt-action rifles, and that is more than enough firepower to take down everybody. You also see we have 2 bits of sniper support, and there are some truly nasty demons, the big chain gun guys. We're going to want to have them dealt with. There we go, 1 and 2 down. Still leaves one of them tromping around, and so he will be up to have a conversation with us just shortly, I think. Him right there. That takes down that last Mujahideen. There we go. We're at short range, like I said before, isn't a big deal. You can see he started firing at us, but we swooped around behind him and didn't really feel like we were in any particular danger. I want to go down this safe way, just so I don't, by chance, attract his attention, but that's fine. He's down with that bolt action. I've got a full other bolt action rifle left. More than enough ammo, as I said. And we are on. We are on to the very last part of the very last part. Now, Ibsen has a number of things that make fighting him troubling. First is that he's very quick. Believe it or not, he's not all that beefy. Not too many shots with most guns will down him. However, when he goes down for the first, I think 3 times, or 4 times, I guess, the first 2 times aren't much of anything, he teleports to somewhere else in the level, and it's not anywhere, but it's normally one of 2 places, and he brings along some friends. And every time he teleports, we either like or do not like where he teleports. And I think it's just RNG where he goes. Fortunately, they give us one of just about all the guns Charon has available to us. They don't give you the auto grenade launcher, which seems like a bummer. They swung that before. But we have enough firepower to take him down as long as we're not profligate. They also give you a scythe, but man, I would not want to be relying on that thing this late in the game. So there's Ibsen. You have a bit longer range than he does, a bit, but you do not want to underestimate it, and you don't ever want to, change floors while he's watching, because his draw and fire time is just incredible. It's so quick, and he is very accurate. Okay, first thing to do here is take down the skeletons. There's always 3 of them tromping about in this first section, and they're really not bad. Easily takeable down with the 32, your old faithful. This guy you especially want to take down, not only because he'll be active later, but because we want this sledgehammer. It allows us to take down Ibsen in 1 shot. Anything that it's hard to stun him, especially with like a hammer or something, and if he got attracted to you, then that would just be that. Now, unfortunately, I delayed a little bit too long. Yeah, normally I can sledgehammer him there, but whatever. Blasting the 32 from behind does the job well enough. Now, normally these skeletons aren't facing this way. In fact, that almost never happens. That's sort of a bizarre occurrence, but whatever. We'll take this crew on from behind. Ibsen is facing away, so 1 shot with the Revenant is enough to take him down. I didn't want to stun him and have him turn around and blast me for obvious reasons, but pretty soon all these guys will start coming downstairs. You need a headshot with the Revenant to take down the lieutenants. Okay, now here he comes with the rest of the Dream Team. Fortunately, the Revenant plus the Death and Taxes was enough to take him down. We still have the Headhunter left, which is my very favorite gun. He's facing away from us here, so I think we should be able to... yes! We sniped him. Alright, now he's down by the well. And there we go. Oh, he dropped his cassette! That's awesome! Okay. Oh no! Oh, I got a pop-up. I hope this doesn't show up on traps. I have to close this. Okay, sorry. They told me that I needed to upgrade Windows. Go figure. Anyway, that's that. We got his cassette. We got it done. We did it. There's no deaths. I think I am quite reasonably sure that we're under time. Not tremendously, but I think we did it. I think this is, I think take 10 is what finally did it. We won't know until all the lights go out and we see if the final 2 banners go up. But ladies and gentlemen, I think we pulled it off. Yes! Woo! All right, that is the no deaths in the under 1 hour achievement in a single run, ladies and gentlemen, leaving us open to getting all the achievements in the game run. Everything else is basically a piece of cake after that, and I say that because you have infinite tries to do everything else. There are, incidentally, no awards for taking down every enemy on this or getting headshots on everybody or anything like that. This is just a for fun post-game thing, but I would still like, of course, slowdown strikes again. Yeah, I'd like it if I could take down everybody just as a final little show, but oh man, that was just just solid play, basically. I had a route that worked, and you know, what I did was I tried to minimize the amount of dangerous situations you're in. Madam Stella, when you open that first door and do the big shootout there, that's sometimes a little risky. There are a couple other times when things can go one way or the other, especially on the construction level with the... yeah, I got her. On the construction level with the skeletons, that can go bad in a hurry. But overall, it's the quickest and safest route that I know of. And it worked. It worked for me once before, and with some minor modifications, it worked again. So, there we go. Yep, this last part here is just pretty much to thank the Kickstarter backers, I think. So, I'm sure, as I've said, that there are ways of doing this game faster. I know that at least as of a month ago when I checked, the top speedrun in the world actually had 1 death in it. So, I know there's better that people can do. I'm not actually feeling up for speedrunning the game in particular, just because I feel like I liked this. This was an intense challenge. Took a long time to pull off, and yeah, it was good. So I look forward to seeing you guys. I will still be getting the rest of the awards, so we get the all awards achievement. But this was the hardest part, so thank you very much for watching. Tune in next time. Glad you were here with me. I am Baxter, and yeah, catch you later.